Hell yeah, brother. Welcome to the Two Step Podcast. I'm Bag, and this is Mag.
Sup?
Coming to you live on Twitch TV. Let's talk some trash. So, we got a couple topics today. The one that we're going to start with is, inevitably, once again, Bethesda has disappointed us with Fallout 76.
That's not hard.
So, yeah, so this time, it actually has nothing to do with the game. Let me pull this up. Let's see here.
I mean, tangentially, yeah. It's not actually Bethesda's fault, I believe, in fact. I mean, it's their fault in the sense that they hired these people, but not their fault in the sense that they're not directly responsible for the product.
Yeah, and they should have,
don't die.
They should have checked this, at least
Yeah,
a
of
little
course.
bit, you know? Like,
Same
they
reason
should have...
checked that fucking plastic duffel bag that they released that was supposed to be canvas, but was, what was it? Shit plastic?
Something terrible.
It was like
nothing.
polyester, if I recall. It was fucking
Here.
garbage. Why am I doing lab while we're doing a podcast? That was a really dumb idea on my part.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
It's only a crawler,
What
it's
is
fine.
this?
I was doing it because I was waiting for you to get ready.
Alright, here we go. Yeah, whatever.
got
I'm
it?
gonna
Oh, I
continue with my
died.
ad blocker. So here we go. So the Fallout 76 collectible helmets are being recalled due to a mold risk. Mold.
That shit.
So, if you wanted some real Fallout, like maybe this is intended, Mag. Maybe this is like part of the mystique. Like they want you to just experience what it's like in a fucking nuclear wasteland, where there's just like helmets are
where
filled with
everything's
mold.
shit.
Yeah, that's what they want, dude. That's part of it. Yeah, they're apparently being recalled, and this is I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what these are from. Are these just like a collectible? Is this just something you can purchase separately? It's not like something that comes with the game.
Yeah. I don't have the page that I had up. Product recall page. Reddit.
Yeah, they were $150, and it has something to do. Let me find this here. There was something
It's
to
the helmet, here
do
it
with.
is. This isn't the helmet from the Fallout 76 Collector's Edition. It's a totally different helmet sold uniquely at GameStop and manufactured separately by a collectible site called Chronicle. This is a comment on Reddit. Let's see this. ChronicleCollectibles.com. I'm just bringing this up here.
Like it says here, they can protect you from ghouls, but not from fungus.
They don't even have it on their website anymore because obviously they recalled it. Because in the United States, CPS, they wanted to remove it.
Yeah, so it looks like it's just a little
20,000
fabric
units
insert.
recalled. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
20,000. So yeah, I mean, like, in a series of just, like, what else can possibly go wrong with Bethesda at this point, and it just, it starts to make me think that they are, Bethesda / Cornicle? What the hell is Cornicle? What is this? Cornicle? Cornicle. Anyways, that's
probably a typo.
I would assume. I assume it's meaning chronicle, but anyways, you never know. Maybe Cornicle is a thing. But in just like a series of I don't even want to say a series of unfortunate events because I just feel like this is just like a lack of attention.
Yeah,
to
because
detail.
that's a good book, and this is a terrible game.
Yeah, right.
That's why we don't want to mention that.
Like, Bethesda has just really been dropping the ball recently. What's the last good thing that they did?
Skyrim, in general, technically. Really, I mean,
yeah, I
really,
mean, like,
the last
Fallout 4
good thing
was...
they did was good. It was Fallout 4 was fine though. I mean, regardless of whether you or I believe it's mediocre, Fallout 4 was still probably the last good thing they actually did in terms of success.
Like I played it enough that I got at least something out of it, right?
But as much as I do enjoy Fallout 76 and Skyrim, realistically, in my opinion, the last good game that Bethesda have done themselves, as in this game studio, is Oblivion. Because I really liked Oblivion. I thought, yeah, Oblivion dumbed some stuff down compared to Morrowind, but I don't think... I played Morrowind when it came out, and I've played Morrowind since then, and I think the nostalgia towards Morrowind is completely... it's overbloated, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Ooh, what am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, see, I played Morrowind when I was a little kid. Oh, here's this Enderman again. He's still here. What's up, dude? I played Morrowind when I was a little kid, and I enjoyed the hell out of that game. but I feel like
Yeah.
in the pursuit of making everything more consumer friendly, they've gone too far in that direction.
Yeah, I agree.
feel.
But I believe Oblivion was fine and Skyrim was worse. And the only reason I enjoy Skyrim so much is because, well, I have a very special... Skyrim is a special place in my heart for the fact is that I paid for Skyrim, but then I moved into a place that didn't have any internet, so I couldn't fucking get it on Steam, because Steam doesn't load on dial-up, alright? Just don't even try. So I had to actually, like... It was the only game I could play, because I managed to get it to work in offline mode. I had a laptop at the time, and I managed to fucking take it to a library, get it to work in that library, and then I'd come home and use offline mode, and I would just mod the shit out of it. I would just go into the library, download a bunch of mods, come home and install it. And so Skyrim is a special place in my heart for that. But if it wasn't for mods, this is kind of the problem with Bethesda games in general nowadays. If you mod it, it's great. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't have to mod the game for it to be good. That's terrible. Why they half-ass it knowing that modders will fix it? That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Because, like,
to me, at least.
Like, let's say, same way, I enjoyed Morrowind. I actually didn't play Oblivion that much, because Oblivion kind of, like, was synonymous, time-wise, with WoW for me. And, I was addicted. I was a little addicted teenage boy that literally played WoW from the moment I got home until the moment that I went to sleep.
Yeah, it's funny.
I did
was
that
a
for
late bloomer
years.
for WoW. Yeah, I was a late bloomer for WoW.
Yeah, I started playing
thing, really.
in Classic, but yeah, so anyways, when Oblivion, I played it a little bit, right? I didn't play it a ton, but I played it a little bit, and Oblivion was, I'm not gonna say the peak, because I think that it was very good, but Morrowind did some things that I liked better, but it was kind of just a little different, right? Skyrim removed a lot of stuff. It made the game.
Agency.
Yeah, like.
But
like one of my favorite lines.
Combat is better.
Yes,
the combat's better
I will
for
say the
Skyrim,
combat
but
is
the
simpler.
RPG mechanics are worse in general.
Yeah, the combat is simpler, and because it is simpler, it's better. Let's see, what's Zeus say? Morrowind is better than Skyrim, is better than Oblivion. I disagree. I kind of disagree.
Think about it. The problem with Oblivion and Skyrim, right, compared to Morrowind, is that a lot is lost in video games in general the moment you remove, you start adding voice acting. You can see this when you go from, all BioWare's games have this problem. When you go from like the original Dragon Age to Mass Effect and then Dragon Age 2, also, I'm going to lose if I'm not careful. Yeah, when you go from those games, you realize how much depth a game without voice acting can have. Because obviously with voice acting, you have to voice every single fucking line. And that means that limits severely how many lines of text you can actually have in your game. Morrowind is filled with fucking text. So much lore. Because it's all in text. And you have to read it. For the record, this is the same reason why Dwarf Fortress, right, is considered extremely deep. Dwarf Fortress is one of the deepest, most complex fucking like city building games you can play. Despite the fact that it's also extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to play mainly because it doesn't have a tutorial and its UI is complete garbage, right? It doesn't have any mouse support outside of like the fucking world generation. If it had mouse support and you just put in a texture pack, I think most people would probably play it fine, just like most people play RimWorld. But its depth comes from the fact that everything is text. And text is so much easier to generate than fucking artificial voice acting. Ask Google how hard that is. Sure, they'll be able to tell.
I've watched a couple people play Dwarf Fortress, and it's amazing the depth that it actually has with such limited ability. But I mean, that happens with a lot of older games, is that they didn't have the ability to wow you with graphics or cool mechanics or anything like that. Because like you go, okay, let's go even further back than Morrowind. You go to like Arena and stuff like that. Those worlds were massive. There's not much that is similar nowadays in scope and size as those games had. They were massive.
This is one of the things that really upsets me about people dissing Skyrim's world, though, personally. I actually think Skyrim has the better world, like actual environment, than both Oblivion and Morrowind, mainly because Morrowind is big but it's empty. This is the same problem with Daggerfall and Arena. They're very empty, while Skyrim's world is significantly more detailed. The issue is that the characters in that world and the things that you can do in it are really fucking shallow compared to Morrowind. That's
yeah, and,
my
and I'm
biggest
gonna
problem.
agree with you there. I agree that it's basically what I said. It's like the scope of it is enormous, but the actual content that's built into those little areas is almost irrelevant. There's almost nothing there, and that is something that improved with every single game so far.
It's
But
a good example to me is like The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3, people will say it's bigger than Skyrim, because the overworld is apparently bigger. I've always disputed this, and I always dispute it anyways, because Skyrim has interiors and Witcher 3 doesn't, but the Witcher 3 world still looks better because despite the fact that I believe it's smaller overall, it's better designed. There's more interesting characters. The cities and the villages that they do have are far more detailed and unique. It's not bogged down by what I would call an old method of design. It's not an old method, they still do this, but Bethesda's structures rely heavily on reusing the same prefabricated tile sets. That's why all of the dungeons and all of the caves look the same, because they just basically they pieced them together like fucking Lego. So
and that was relevant, or it was obvious when you went into if you use the like cave designer and like the world builder thing in Morrowind at all. They literally just gave you the same tools and showed you that it was just like, oh, well, all you do is you just take these little cave blocks that they have pre-rendered, and you just kind of fit them together, and they all fit together perfectly fine.
The only reason Morrowind was slightly better in this design is because they had a few more themes going. So, like, Skyrim suffers from having mostly Draugr caves, then just mostly caves, which are, and then fucking like Dwemer dungeons. And they all kind of blend in, just varying shades of grey, whereas Morrowind had a little bit more colour with their dungeons, in my opinion. But it could be
and something that Zeus said here, he said the cities in The Witcher 3 were bigger and more city-like, but I don't know about them being unique. So, so I feel that uniqueness is kind of something that... Think about in real life, though, Zeus. How many cities are unique? Like, if you go into the downtown of most large cities and you just randomly took a picture of some street without any street signs, without any knowledge of what's going on, could you really tell where you were? I mean, you're not one of those speedrunners that plays that one game. What's that one game that people play? You know what I'm talking about? Where they like, you get dropped into like a Google Map section of something and you have so much time to figure out where you're at.
Man, that's a really interesting game. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. If we look up the Witcher 3 cities, the thing about them is that Novigrad and Oxenfurt are in the same location. That was the name I was looking for, Oxenfurt. They're in the same like world space. So naturally they're going to look different. The same, rather. They're going to look similar because they're in the same continent, right? And if you're on, like, you don't expect cities in, let's say, fucking England to all look dramatically different depending on where you go. They should all look relatively similar because it's the same fucking country. At the very least, there might be some differences a little bit. Also, this fucking OPSM ad with goddamn fucking what's his name. I got to get ad block for my fucking Twitch Chrome bullshit thing. Terrible. The thing about it is that while Novigrad and Oxenfurt look the same, things like Skellige and Kaer Morhen, right? The Kaer Morhen fortress look incredibly different. But Skyrim kind of has that, but in not the same way. Like most of the fortresses, or whatever they're called, the fucking cities in Skyrim look really, really similar to each other.
Yeah, they look almost exactly the same.
There are a few, like Solitude and Windhelm do look different because they're supposed to be the faction capitals of the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, but they still look really similar. They still have the whole, this is the Skyrim architecture. Because they would. Why wouldn't they? I can't fault them
and that was
for
something
it,
that was something that I kind of didn't like about it, is that it was like necessity of looking different. Like, you know, okay, I can't chase him. But it was like the important cities looked better, right? Like the important cities had something specific to them, but only if they had to. They don't have them just to have them. But a lot of games are like this. Yeah, I mean, it's not an uncommon thing, you know. It's something that lots and lots and lots of games do, so can't exactly fault them for it. But getting back to what we were talking about before, Bethesda is just kind of disappointing in recent years. Like, we kind of got on a huge tangent there about all of the reasons that they're disappointing, but Fallout 76 is what we were kind of talking about, and Fallout 76 massively disappointed me because I really liked the Fallout series. It's not something that I spent, you know, hours and hours and hours on. Like, I played through the game once or twice most of the time for like 3 and 4. 3 I played more than 4, but Fallout 76 just looked like a massive downgrade just for the purpose of it being multiplayer and online. Like, it just felt like they gave up on everything else.
I wouldn't have minded if Fallout 76 was... They took the survival aspects, right, of Fallout 4 and the world building, like the whole village building shit, right, the town building stuff, and they decided they wanted to make a game out of that. And I think that's fine. I think that despite the fact that I don't really get into the town building aspects too much, like, the problem with Fallout 4 for some people, right, there's a 50-50 opinion on this in the sense that a lot of the time in development has clearly been spent on customizing your villages, your settlements, right, and being able to build them. And obviously, if you don't like that, if you hate all of that, then Fallout 4 may be disappointing to you compared to, let's say, Fallout 3 or New Vegas, because a lot of development time has been spent on a feature you don't like. So naturally, you're not going to like it. I think it's fine to have that one feature made as a separate game, especially a multiplayer game, because why not? Survival. I like the survival genre for the most part, as we've already discussed.
And I'm not a fan.
Yeah, and you're not a fan, but that's, I don't think it's a problem, but there's no depth to Fallout 76. It's like they've taken the entire fucking thing and been slapped multiplayer on it without any real balancing or any additional content or any thought on how that might actually work whatsoever. And it doesn't help that it uses the same engine, so it doesn't work well anyways, because the engine was never designed for multiplayer.
Yeah, see, that's my issue with it, is that they did it for just the sake of doing the game. They didn't try to actually iterate on the genre at all. They're just like, oh, well, I think we need to get into this genre, so let's just copy-paste Fallout 4 and make it so that people can join it in multiplayer. That's all that they did. Yeah, it's horrible. And it's not what they sold it as, right? Like, that was my whole issue with it, is that they come out with Fallout 76 saying, yeah, you're going to be able to be... It's basically Fallout 4, but multiplayer. But it's not.
But you know why I wasn't really expecting that? Because I already got burned by the Elder Scrolls Online prior, which was supposed to be Skyrim, but with multiplayer, and ended up being basically Guild Wars fucking 2. But with Elder Scrolls. It's literally an MMO. It's MMO light. I say this because it has the same shit you'll be doing in WoW, but the combat is streamlined like Guild Wars. And it's good. It's fine. If you like an MMO, if you like MMO gameplay, the Elder Scrolls Online is an MMO that you should consider playing, honestly. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted fucking Skyrim. Yeah, but who cares? That's not what anyone wanted, you know?
Yeah, you're not going to be getting any kind of actual Elder Scrolls experience from the Elder Scrolls Online. It's basically just an excuse to make... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's basically just an excuse to make an MMO in that universe, is all that it is. And it should
be noted that, the lore is questionable anyways, because one, Bethesda are willing to change it at a whim, or merge certain things, and two, it's in a timeline that has never been addressed by Bethesda. So none of the fucking elements will ever really matter, because Bethesda could just go, well, we don't give a fuck about that lore. Who cares?
Retcon.
Yeah, it's very easy to retcon when literally it's literally like 200 or 1,000 years between.
Yeah, and I can't say that it's going to be something that gives me a vote of confidence when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6.
It's not even that.
I can always hope. They're Star something. What is it?
Yeah, Star some shit. And that's probably going to be on the same exact engine. So.
Yeah, it doesn't give me much confidence for that one either. I mean, Bethesda's just kind of been failing me as a company recently, and I think that it kind of shows in their stocks, right? Like, haven't they not been doing well in recent time? Like, compared to what they did before. I'm sure they have plenty of money.
I don't invest in Bethesda, and I don't keep up on that shit.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of weird stuff going on.
But I'm not going to make investment advice. I'm not a fucking investment broker, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of weird stuff going on with just like expectations being set very high for certain games, like Borderlands 3, for example. It is the best-selling game that Epic has ever done, right? Like their company that Epic has promoted, and
but it's not necessarily doing as well as they might have wanted it to do. Let's bring up that.
It's like it's insane that their goals are set so high that Zeus, I actually like the Epic Store. I don't have that many problems with it. The thing that's interesting about it, it's fine. But the thing that's interesting about it is
the concept
that
behind it is crap.
let me pull this up. Yeah, the Borderlands 3 sales, although they are the best-selling game that the companies have ever done, including what's the company that makes Borderlands? Like the actual designers?
Gearbox and Take-Two are the
Gearbox, Take-Two, and then Epic Games. For all three of those, it is the highest-selling game that they've ever had, right? By far, like in the course of the time that it's been out.
You mean on Epic? Because we can't say that it's the highest selling Borderlands game because we don't know. Because their numbers, they say 5 million. Right, that was their milestone.
Yeah, 5 million in 5 days.
They just said 5 million. Yes, and that's an impressive number, don't get me wrong. But they didn't specify how many of that is on console. How many of that is on PC? How well would they, what were their actual expectations?
Than Borderlands 2.
The problem...
So in that amount of time. Yeah, you have to remember that it's in that 5-day period.
Which is fine, right? But here's the thing. Borderlands 3 was always going to sell more than Borderlands 2. So it's really... that's like the same concept where people say Metro Exodus sold more than the last Metro game. But one, they didn't release any numbers, any concrete numbers. And two, yeah, but that's because it's more popular and the marketing team was much better. Basically, all I'm saying is selling more, like twice as more as the previous title, when you fucking spend more to sell more... Like, when you want to sell more, it just... No wonder it does. It should be selling more, shouldn't it? Isn't that, like... To me, it's not a fact indicative of the actual success, because it should be selling more, because it's more popular and they spent more marketing funds to make it better, is all I'm saying.
It's just interesting to me that the stock
and the sales figure...
though.
No, well, the sales figure is so... the problem I have with Borderlands 3's Take-Two's crap mainly comes from the fact that Randy Pitchford and Tim Sweeney, right, CEO of Gearbox and Epic, respectively, have such a fucking hard-on. They both have a massive fucking boner for numbers. They love to spread numbers. Whenever the numbers do well for Epic, Tim Sweeney will fucking slap his cock all over your fucking face, right? Absolutely. They'll go on Twitter and just go, look at all the numbers! We're doing so fucking well! And Randy Pitchford, same fucking thing. These guys have an ego, right? These guys have a fucking thicker ego than fucking Donald Trump's fucking wig. I mean they have a bigger ego than fucking Bob Ross's afro.
Okay, that's a better one. I was gonna say, I don't think his wig is actually that good. But anyways...
Fine. The fact that they're not saying anything, like, concrete, the fact that they're not going out and saying, oh, this has been this successful, or whatever, kind of spells not good signs for me. I mean, it was the same with Metro Exodus. Have you ever watched the investment video, like the investor video after Metro Exodus released? They didn't even want to mention Epic. They just wanted to kind of avoid the topic entirely. And to me, that's not a good sign. If it did really well, they'd be on our ass telling us about it, which would be fine.
Yeah, and
they deserve that, but now they're not. And
then there's another company that is suffering actually the same thing, and this one is a little surprising. It's Nintendo.
And that's because of the fucking drift, right? The shitty.
No. Not even that. The issues with the Switch Lite. They expected the Switch Lite to be better than it is already, and the thing about this one is the numbers are a little bit different when it comes to the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite is actually the second best revision selling console of all time, and that's all time. And the Switch Lite's been out for...
I don't have that. Do we have an article?
Not that long. I don't remember where the article is for that. I don't think I have it. But I was looking at the numbers, and basically, even right now, the amount of sales that the Twitch Lite has done puts it in number 2 of all time. Not for a short period of time, not for like a week or two or whatever, like compared to the other console that came out. But of all time, and it's been of all time, it's just the second highest. And stock is dropping because they thought that it would sell more than being the second best already of all time after a week of it being out.
What's the first?
I don't remember. It was another Nintendo console.
Let's take a look at this, fellas.
I think it was the
do this live.
I think it was the SNES. The SNES Classic.
Yeah, I mean, sure. List of best-selling game consoles on Wikipedia. Let's take a look.
It's revisions though. You have to check the revision section if there is one. But anyways, it just
of course.
It makes me think that there is some kind of like the status quo, the bar has been set so insanely high for investors apparently that
I think it's the general in gaming in general. I think they believe that they're currently, it's because gaming is in that fucking like that massive growth stage that like tech was in the late 90s. And I think that's where their expectations are coming from. They think it's going to be the exact same and have the same boom after the dot-com bubble burst. They think it's going to have the exact same splurge of growth. And I'm not
convinced that it's going to. I mean, it is getting big, but I would say
not fast. The difference is the technology for gaming by comparison to how tech was in like the early 2000s is so much different.
I would say that the difference, though, the reason that gaming is booming is not actually because of games being played, though. I don't feel that is the boom. I think that they are misreading the market heavily, because I feel that the reason that games are getting this surge, this boom right now, is the media creation about them.
Oh, yeah,
like,
sure.
Streaming,
the
videos being made.
Better than it is. Yeah.
Yes, so it's like
video games are being perceived as more popular than they actually are. And keeping in mind that often mobile games get lumped into this, which will absolutely skew the average.
God, it skews it horribly, especially if you include China. If you just remove mobile games and you remove China, the numbers make much more sense. But without those two things removed, it's terrible. So,
but nobody does that because it doesn't make it look as good.
Yeah. So the whole idea here is that video games are extremely popular, but the money that's actually in console selling and title selling is not as big as it might seem. Because these companies... Yeah, it never has been. The money is, nowadays at least, the thing that is exponentially growing is the media related to it. The companies that are putting out, like, basically ad revenue or Patreon money or things like that.
Well, that's an interesting... It's funny because, like, consoles like Sony, like PlayStation, right? They never made fucking profit. For decades, they didn't make profit. Sony was propped up, the PlayStation specifically was propped up on the back of Sony's insurance and like entertainment industries. It very rarely made money for itself. It's only
same with Microsoft.
Yes, it's only recently with like the PlayStation 4 that they've started being able to actually generate genuine profit with the console. Probably in part due to the sheer amount of... We can harp on about how terrible exclusives are for the consumer, and they are. They're fucking garbage. But from a business perspective, right, they're really, really powerful. And that's why Sony puts them so much. They lock you into their fucking ecosystem. And it works because people will absolutely buy into that. I don't support this, right? I hate exclusives with passion. But that's the reason why consoles like the Xbox 360, especially when it was doing this, and the PlayStation 4 have managed to try and turn a profit. And even the Xbox 360 suffered. So...
And it kind of feels like the whole Coke versus Pepsi thing, right? Like, the issue is that these companies, obviously Coke has the bigger market share, right? But they have kind of a gentleman's agreement that they will not, like, infringe upon each other because it lowers the value of both. Oh, well, that's right.
Okay, a better example of this too, I think, is telecommunications companies in America, where because specific cities and states will have access to only one or maybe two ISPs, and you won't have access to anything else. They corner the market deliberately because it raises the overall value, or at least the perception that they're worth more.
Yes.
By screwing over every fucking customer ever, unfortunately.
So, So Zeus, the whole Pepsi versus Coke thing, an interesting tidbit about that I read a long time ago is that you remember Meg, how they had like the Pepsi challenge or whatever it was called?
Oh,
So do you know the reasoning behind that? Do you know why Pepsi won so frequently? The challenge was legitimate. They actually brought those out to places and they had people decide which one was better, right? And Pepsi did win those. But do you know why?
Why?
So Pepsi inherently is sweeter. Anybody that drinks either of those can tell you immediately Pepsi is sweeter, right?
Yeah.
However, when you drink anything that is sweet, the sweeter something is, the more that you drink it, the harder it is to continue drinking it because your body gets overloaded with the sugar and your body will only accept a certain amount of sugar. Another interesting thing about soda, for anybody out there who regularly drinks soda, the only reason you can drink soda with so much sugar in it is because they literally put an acidic chemical in it that prevents you from vomiting. Just so you're aware.
Really?
And yes, if they did not have that chemical in it, you would vomit because of how much sugar is in soda. Like 100% instantly. Yeah. It's that's the whole reason that you can drink soda.
Oh man. And I'm sitting here drinking.
So yeah. So I don't drink anything but water. But anyways, the whole thing behind that is that Pepsi is sweeter, right? So what they found is that on one sip, Pepsi tastes better. But when you're trying to drink an entire cup, Coke easily wins because it's not as sweet, so your body doesn't start rejecting it as quickly.
Yeah.
That is the whole reason why Coke is so much more popular, is because Pepsi is better in a single sip. It's better when you just take a little drink. But we're getting way off the topic here.
That sounds like still personal preference though, because I fucking despise Pepsi. So whatever.
If you like really sweet stuff, then you'll like Pepsi. But over the course of time, the Coke generally holds more.
I think too,
more people's like.
I don't know
attention.
about you, Bag, but as I got older, I stopped liking sweet food anyway. In general.
So
now soda is the sweetest thing I even eat.
So the way that it goes for me,
off topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, whatever. We can talk about whatever the hell we want. So something that's interesting for me is that I too avoid sweet things, but it's for a different reason. So the way that your taste buds work is that they adapt to whatever you throw at them, right? They're just like any other muscle or system in the body, is that they adapt. So if you eat very sweet things all of the time, you're going to require sweet things to get the same amount of satisfaction out of your food. That's the reason why obesity is such a problem, and
that's why
gamers are generally obese, right? Because we're like the average gamer. Now, when I say gamer, I mean think like neckbeard fucking virgin dude sitting in a dark corner of his room with a bright ass screen in front of him with Doritos and Mountain Dew, right? That's what I mean when I say a gamer, right? So these people. Let's
get those labels out of the way already.
Yeah, let's just do it. Rise up. Oof. But so the reason that these people are in general so overweight is because what am I doing here? So the reason that these people in general are so overweight is because in general, if you drink a lot of sugary beverages, which caffeinated beverages also have sugar in them, you're going to desire more things that have those extreme flavors. If you stop doing that and you start eating normal food, whole foods, fruit, vegetables, those kinds of things, your taste buds actually heal themselves and they no longer require such excessive stimulus. Just like any drug or any chemical or anything that you put into your body.
Oh, yeah, of course.
When you remove the stimulus, your body starts to react to smaller amounts of it. So it's just one of those things, and let's get back on topic, because we've deviated so insanely heavily. Let's fully reset
talk
here.
Whatever I want.
I mean, yeah, but I want to get back to what we were talking about before. So the Nintendo thing. So the light sales were not as good, and it made it so that
so stupid.
It made it so that the stocks dropped on it, even though it's the second best revision console of all time.
How much did they drop?
Let's see.
Because let's be honest.
Look that up.
Yeah, if it's only 10% or whatever, I question this. How much have they dropped? Because as an example,
points.
Yeah, because as an example, people were going on and harping on about how Borderlands 3, like, Take-Two stock dropped like 5% after Borderlands Milestones numbers were released, but 5% is fucking nothing. 5% is like literally a margin of goddamn error when it comes to investing. 5% is so small that it could even be just a sign of a goddamn correction. So that's why I ask, how bad is
it dropped?
Switch?
It dropped like 4 points actually, which is
since
in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, it went down 480 is the dollar price of it. And Nintendo stock was only $45 to begin with, or 49, and now it's back down to 44. So that's actually a pretty decent drop, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Because the Lite is a good console, I think. It's for a specific kind of person.
Other than the fucking drift.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let me pull that up actually. Let's see here.
The legal
is it
battle
specifically
going?
Is it specifically the no, it's just the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
It's not actually it's not actually the Lite.
No, but the Lite itself has similar problems apparently. They're not getting legal battles because of this Lite, but they are undergoing. People are looking for legal remuneration due to fucking hell, man. Discord speaking.
It is part of the Switch Lite. It is actually part of the Switch Lite because the built-in Joy-Con apparently has similar issues.
Hang on,
class action lawsuits. I honestly, yeah, I've got it up at the moment. Class action lawsuits, to be honest with you, they're such bull. Like, the thing about a class action lawsuit is that the individual consumer gains nothing from it. They gain literally nothing from it.
The only reason they do it is because most people can't afford to take Nintendo, for instance, to court by themselves. So this is the only power they feel they have.
This is just a way for lawyers to make money. Legitimately, it's just a straight grab.
I agree with that, but at the same time, right? Here's the thing: the Joy-Con drift specifically is fucking bullshit, right? And it's never been acknowledged, and it's never been fixed. And the fact that Nintendo America have been giving out replacements as a good faith gesture, right? And only Nintendo America have been doing it. So the reality is that for this to even change, and the fact that the Nintendo Switch Lite continues to have this fucking issue, right, is really bad. Like, that's incredibly bullshit for the consumer, for anything. The fact that Nintendo releases an entirely brand new fucking console that has the exact same problem with the Joy-Con, or the controllers, because they're not actually Joy-Cons, I guess, for the Lite. They haven't fixed it, is all I'm saying. And the fact that they haven't fixed it is really arse. And the only way for a consumer to tell them to fix it is to either not buy it or sue the fuck out of them if they already own it. And obviously, like, for instance, people like you and me, we're not rich enough to sue Nintendo. Nintendo could just drag their fucking shoes for any law battle, for any lawsuit, for just years.
Sure.
And what are we going to do? Nothing. You're never going to get, and the money you get from that is never going to be anything. At worst, you'll fucking settle. So the problem will still not be solved, because in a settlement, nobody wins or loses technically. So they don't have to change. I don't like class action lawsuits as a general thing, but I do think it's bullshit if you're in a position where you should be liable to sue somebody, and you feel that the only way you could ever afford to do so is via class action, then you're already fucked, right? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and I mean, we could get into the whole issue of America bad, blah 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 blah.
Well, it's not even just that. It's not just America.
Legal bad.
It's really not just America, because lots of companies. It's like, for instance, how every company nowadays has forced arbitration rules, and your only course of action is to either accept that, where 90% of cases of arbitration resolve in the actual company's favor, right? Statistically, the majority of people, because they use the numbers like, oh, you can get like thousands of dollars of remuneration. It's like, yes, but the majority of people don't. They get nothing because they lose. The arbitrator goes towards the fucking company, and the only luck you have is to just appeal and go, well, this is fucking what's the word for it? Unfair. It's like unreasonable, and you can apparently get that clause like thrown out. But that depends on what country you live in and what state you live in, and how well they're going to fight, and how many good precedents you have. Because if you don't have a precedent in gaming, for instance, with like Nintendo, you're kind of screwed. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can really do about it. So I have
So do you mean-
experienced the Joy-Con issue,
The drift?
and it does suck.
No, I haven't.
Even though I don't
experienced it
have
'cause mine just fucking-
what was that?
I haven't experienced the Joy-Con drift issue because mine just fucking failed. The left Joy-Con doesn't work at all, and I'm not sure if it's the Joy-Con or if it's the actual Switch like rail. It's great, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of problems. The specific problem that I had with mine was that I'm in a boat now, by the way. But anyways, the specific problem that I had with mine was that it wouldn't recognize it. Like when I would try to like slot it into the side of the Switch, it like wouldn't recognize it fully, and it wouldn't like click in properly.
I have that problem with my left Joy-Con specifically, and I
think
you
it
know
was
how
my
much it's
left
going to
as well.
cost. You know how much it's going to cost to fix it? $180.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I'll just go buy a new one, and it's like, that's
Yeah,
what you
why-
should do. That's what we want you to do, right?
Yeah, which is fucked. Like, what the fuck?
Thanks for the follow, man. But yeah, that's like that is the whole issue, right? That is the whole issue, is that all that they want you to do, they just want you to buy a new console. They want to make it as difficult as possible, and it sucks that there's no way to get any kind of like recompense from it. There's nothing that you can do.
No,
You're basically just
that's
at
why
their
they-
whim.
Pretty much. Which is why they do
Right.
class action lawsuits, with the only winner being the lawyers.
Yep, that's pretty much it. All right, so let's see here. So next thing that we want to talk about here is that virtual reality
Ah, yeah!
has gained legs.
Yeah! Actually, this
So-
looks really cool, though.
Yes,
Like,
I
legit,
agree.
I don't know how well it works, but it looks really cool. Let's pull this up
Yeah.
on our streams,
Yeah,
too.
I'm gonna pull it up.
If
So-
my Discord won't be a fucking cock and stop lagging!
So this is called
Wow.
Agile VR, right? And this is something that it's not even a concept I would have imagined, right? And that's how a lot of
Are
like
you
really
sure?
good things
I
happen.
imagined, I kind of expected something like it, though, to happen eventually.
Well, the thing that I figured that would happen is that you would be on a little platform that moves, right? Kind of like a treadmill that just moves in every direction. And there's been that, but this is something interesting. This is a little
I
bit
thought they
different.
would use
So-
motion sensing, but you know.
Well, the whole problem, right, is that you need to be able to move in a limited space.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem of movement in VR. So what this is you can, wow, 500 euro? I didn't realize they were that much. But the whole idea of this is that you can see here they strap onto your
early
legs.
tech.
And what you do is to move forward or to run, you just run in place. Like you kind of do like you're jogging in place kind of thing. And the faster that you jog, the faster you'll run. You can also jump by jumping. So
Just watching the
it's
trailer
actually
here.
where is the
I'm
trailer?
not.
Oh, this is
I'm just,
experience.
it's on the
level
page,
of
but I'm just
immersion.
muting it. Yeah, I'm just watching it on the stream, muting it.
Yeah,
So
let's
this is
see
for
here.
the Agile VR. It is very, very clever.
Yeah, so
But
this is a super interesting idea, and I feel it's a lot more manageable than the treadmill thing because it doesn't require any
Yes.
kind of setup process. You just strap it onto your legs
just
and you're
in
good.
space, yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically an
The cool thing
exoskeleton.
I wonder if this would work. Does this work while sitting down for certain things?
It doesn't.
God, that looks.
I mean,
love-
maybe you could probably make it work. Yeah, you're never gonna look cool in VR, by the way. Don't
I love
expect
how
yourself to look
ridiculous.
even.
No.
Yeah, don't expect yourself to look even like somewhat acceptable while you're
The
playing
only
VR. I
way-
mean, like, look at
nah,
this dude.
The only way you're ever gonna look cool is if they do like what's that fucking I don't watch anime, so excuse me, but what's that fucking anime where they're all fucking jacked
Sword Art
into some
Online?
virtual reality?
Yeah.
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art
Don't they
Online.
have like pods and shit for that? Where they're like in a fucking like just you it's not really it's VR, but you're just plugged in, like you're jacked in like the Matrix and you're essentially
Yeah.
sleeping and your mind
The
is
way-
fucking, it's all in your
The way
head.
that works is you just have a like helmet or visor thing that you put over yourself, and then you just kind of like your sense. So basically, the technology behind it, as they described it in the anime, is that it just cuts your senses as they come out of your brain, and it redirects them. Is what it does. So,
That's the only way you'll ever look cool, if you look like you're just fucking sleeping.
Yeah, because that's all that they do. They just
Cool while
laid in a
they're
bed.
sleeping, okay? I don't know if you've ever looked
Yeah.
you sleeping. Nobody looks cool sleeping. Come on.
Regardless of this looking stupid as hell,
Stupid.
it is
Yeah,
it
it's
is
still
very
functional.
interesting
Practical.
concept, and it's something I'm a very big proponent of. I want VR to be like a thing.
Yeah,
Like I really think that in the next 10 to 15 years, it's going to be like the next frontier, like the internet.
Whereas I really want augmented reality.
I mean, that's gonna come with it though.
Yeah,
they're gonna be together.
Okay, I want to walk into a fucking building like that fucking concept art for Deus Ex Human Revolution, where they have the fucking glass panes and the fucking computer displays are all over it. Let's get that up there. And they're doing that now. I'm pretty sure Samsung has that as a thing. Oh, here it is, where everything is just your computer monitor isn't a computer monitor. It's just glass. It's just fucking glass, right? And you can see through it. And it's just, everything is just displayed on the fucking, like, glass shit. I want that. That's what I want.
Something interesting is the creator of Sword Art Online actually made another series that a lot of people don't know as much of. It's not even close to as popular, and it's called Excel World, right? And the idea of Excel World is that it's in the same universe, however, it is far in the future. And the technology has massively advanced to where it's just a necklace that you wear and it's active all the time. So the idea is that you have augmented reality at all times. It can do anything from correct your vision to just like have a computer that just spawns out in front of you.
Okay, look. Do you know how fucking amazing Pokemon Go would become if we had that? Fuck this phone shit!
So that's the idea, right? And
yeah. Amazing.
The thing is that you had the option of doing the deep dive where you could go into it and it would cause you to be able to just be in that, like, whatever reality, right? So the whole story of Excel World is that someone made a program within it that allows you to enter a deep dive world where time is massively exaggerated, meaning that, like, 1 second is like a day or more.
Yeah.
And that was the whole concept of that, but we won't go into that.
I can't find it, but I know that Samsung has. There was a fucking like demo thing where they had like just a glass pane, and you could they just had the image of whatever they were broadcasting on that glass pane.
Yeah, and I mean that's honestly, it's honestly not even it's not even that hard to do at this point. There are ways that you can do it like with a normal screen. I don't know if you've ever seen those. Well, yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen those things where people like peel the layer of film off of their monitor and then you just attach it to a pair of glasses.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to like, you remember like playing Mass Effect 2 and 1 and whatever, and seeing those virtual keyboards that they have, and they had the weird gloves because the gloves provided them the haptic feedback. Because let's be honest, right? Using a keyboard without any feedback would be fucking hard. I want that.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're just going to. That is the way that it's going to go. The gloves themselves are going to provide the haptic feedback for that. It's just going to give you a slight press back, and it'll just do it electrically through your finger. Is how it'll do it. I'm sure, but
it'll be wireless, Bluetooth.
But that is where it's going. I mean, there was actually a patent filed recently that they have a smartwatch. Well, it's not a smartwatch, like a fitness watch. That it takes the sweat that you make and it charges itself off of that. I don't know the specifics on it, but
is that it's just where that's just conceptual at the moment, right?
They have the technology. It works. The battery itself works. Like it can charge off of the sweat, but it's not efficient, which is the problem with all of that. Of all battery technologies, it's just not as efficient.
No.
But the idea is that the it takes the sweat and dissolves it, and there's a chemical reaction that happens that causes power. But I don't know anything more about it beyond that.
That sounds awesome, though.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's just like in Deus Ex, there's bioelectricity, right? Like you have to, if there's a point where you need equipment that's attached to you, you're gonna have to charge it somehow. Whether that be, I feel that the whole like charging it with like something that you use like a biocell like they do in Deus Ex, I feel like that is not what it would be.
Like an
I think would happen.
Battery.
Yes. I feel that it's going to use your own body's electricity, and you're just going to have to eat more to be able to supply it. But we'll probably have something to get around that eventually.
Oh, funnily, okay, actually, that's a fair question, because in Human Revolution, the bioenergy that you get is recovered from fucking protein bars. That's how that's the actual design in the game.
It's like just eating.
Like, it's a candy bar. It's just eating. Yeah.
And that's a much better.
It just
it's a much better way to go about it.
Yes.
Because if you're trying to just like take these little biocells, like what the hell happens when you don't have one of those biocells? Do you just die? Whatever it is, the bioenergy little cell things.
I mean, what is it though?
What happens? Do you just die?
What is it? Yeah.
I'm guessing it's just a battery?
Yeah, but they don't call it. It's a bio cell. So that assumes that it's a battery made out of bioenergy, not that it necessarily charges your bioenergy. So what the fuck?
Maybe we're just like.
Also, actually no, because it's nanites. It's nanites in Deus Ex, right? That's the whole thing. Yeah. You're not actually recharging your own bioenergy. You're recharging the nanites energy using this fucking cell. I don't know. Like it's 2052. We got plenty of time to figure this shit out. Okay.
Yeah, we got like 33
We got another
years.
we got another like 8 years before we get mechanical augmentations and the breakdown of society happens because of it. It's fine.
Yep, be fine. But I don't want an iron shovel, I want a stone shovel. But yeah, so I'm very excited for VR. I think that there are a lot of aspects of it that'll be good. I feel that I'm not excited for augmented reality in the sense of that everywhere that I'm walking is going to be filled with ads and stuff like that.
Oh, that's like
I know that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh fuck! What's that movie that fucking Tom Cruise was in?
I know which one you're talking about, but I don't.
With
remember.
the precogs.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad in that.
It's gonna
case,
be like
in that
that.
sense.
When you walk in a store and the fucking AI just says your name and goes, "Welcome, fucking Mr. Tastix." Minority Report. That's the movie. Fucking, you'll just walk down the street and the ads will just change based on your own shit. Like, this is a billboard, but instead of having predisposed shit, it's just any ad based on what you want. That's terrible.
Yeah, and
that's really bad.
Neil deGrasse Tyson recently,
pretty terrible.
Yeah, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he was talking about how that's already kind of a thing. It's just not as sophisticated as that. Like when a shop clerk comes up to you and they say, "Hey, how's it going? What can I help you with?" You lose that. I like just walking through a store, right? Like I enjoy just like walking around, looking at stuff, and like just kind of shopping, right? Like literally just
browsing.
Shopping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
so do I.
And when you have someone that goes out of their way to try to help you with that, you feel forced to kind of just do whatever it is you came there to do, and you lose
the problem here
right?
is, and the thing is that from a sales perspective, it fucking 100% works, though. It works. Of course,
absolutely.
They do it, but it doesn't work on me because people come up to me and approach me and go, "Can I help you, sir?" No, you can help me by fucking off, right?
Yeah, I pretty much always say no, right?
It's like the moment you walk up to me and ask for help, if you don't leave when I ask you to, I'm leaving the store. Fuck you. I hate that. It's like I want to experience, because I'm the same thing. I like to actually experience the act of shopping by my own fucking senses, not by somebody else's senses that they think that I should be adhering to. So that's why I don't like the idea of walking into a store and being addressed by name or having ads that are like, it ruins the discovery of shopping, which I think is a really important part for the actual like person shopping. Walking around and discovering shit.
It's not good for money because a lot of the time you'll just like forget what you're doing and not actually buy anything. But
at
Amazon exists now, so it's like
they won't. Well, that's the thing. In supermarkets, they don't do that. The reason they don't do it in supermarkets because everyone goes to a supermarket because they're looking for something. It's actually supermarkets are great because it's the exact reverse effect. Nobody goes. Most people will browse and go into a clothes store and go, "I don't know what I want to buy, but I might want to spend some money," so they'll look around. The people going into a supermarket generally know what they want to buy, and then then they come up with more than they actually needed. So that's why you don't get supermarket like attendees asking you what you want, because one, you already know what you want, and two, they don't want to interrupt you while you're buying. Yeah, they don't want to interrupt you while you're buying a bunch of other non-specific shit that you didn't need.
Yeah, because like think about this, guys. How many times have you gone to a grocery store and bought nothing? How often does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. And if you really and since this is a gaming channel, let's relate this to gaming. Why do you think, right, Steam sales were so fucking good for so many fucking years? Why do you think it's a meme that people, whenever a Steam sale happens, people go, "Hey, it's time to buy some games that I'll never play." Woohoo! It's a meme. People are celebrating the worst aspect of the human psyche when it comes to consumerism. It works though. 100% it works. It worked too well for gaming. It worked so well that they now can't discount shit because people just like they devalued the price of games because
Gamers
they
don't
did
go
it.
outside. Yeah. Okay, so we're running out of time here, so there's one final thing that I did want to talk about.
Oh god.
The most recent WoW cinematic called Reckoning.
Why can't we just avoid this?
So we got to talk about it, Mag. We got to do it for we got to do it for the gamers. They need to know. So
they need to know how fucking terrible.
Spoilers here, big spoilers. Don't watch the rest of the podcast if you don't want spoilers on what happens in this cinematic for some reason. This is a World of Warcraft cinematic. So don't listen if you don't want spoilers.
Are you actually playing it? We're gonna play it?
No, I'm not gonna play it. But please. I'm gonna talk about what happens.
Spoiler alert!
This is your spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in this cinematic, basically, exactly what we thought would happen happens, right? I mean, did anyone think that this wasn't where they were going?
Spoiler alert! Vol'jin dies. Oh shit! Sorry.
Vol'jin is already dead, but what happens is that they come together, and lo and behold, Saurfang is just like, I challenge Sylvanas to Mak'gara. It's like, okay, anytime the Mak'gara happens, basically, you already know what's going down. It's obvious who wins. They use magic.
They even did that in the movie.
Yeah, they cheat. And the only Mak'gara that was ever legitimate was the original World of Warcraft movie, where it was who was that? Was that Lothar?
Yeah, it was good in the Warcraft film, right? It was versus Gul'dan, and Gul'dan actually beat the shit out of them though. Like he didn't just use his magic and fucking everything up.
Well,
like,
I mean the one before that though.
Oh,
there was another Mak'gara, remember? It was versus it was what's his name versus the orc. The human versus the orc. And that was the only legitimate Mak'gara I've ever seen. That one was it. But
yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, Fraud cheated in his. Fucking Garrosh men cheat. I mean, to be fair, I would say the Garrosh one was legitimate because it was supposed to be. From Garrosh's perspective, 100%. He just got fucking, like, screwed by that fucking traitorous shaman bitch who for some reason then enters into the shaman fucking, like, class hall because fuck law, fuck you, fuck everything to do with that fucking character. We should have fucking...
I honestly hate Thrall.
In the damn fucking thing. It's not Thrall, though, just Thrall. It's the fact that they throw out every dramatic experience. Every dramatic experience that they ever do, they throw out by doing shit like the cutscene. All the character development that any character just gets completely rewritten in the new expansion.
So,
why?
Continuing with the cutscene. So what ends up happening is Saurfang challenges Sylvanas to Mak'gara. They fight a little bit. He says some inspirational words. He quotes his son a lot, actually.
Oh god, which is an insult to every Wrath fan ever.
Yes.
Might I add?
So if you remember in the Wrathgate cinematic, his son, Saurfang's son, is the leader of the Force, right? And he says, and
he becomes a boss.
A Death Knight.
Definitely.
But what's it called?
I love that fight.
So he quotes his son a lot, right? He quotes like 3 things that his son says, like "Let it be finished" and something else. But anyways, so he quotes his son a lot. Sylvanas beats the shit out of him, and then he gets like, then you can see it by when she's swinging her swords. There's purple shit coming out of the sword that she's swinging. But anyways, what happens after that is that Sylvanas gets angry because Saurfang taunts her, and Sylvanas is not the type to get angry over just stupid little things that doesn't matter.
She's a strategist. She's very meticulous, right?
She's cold and calculating. That's what she is. That is her whole entire character, and that's what she's always been. She's been very smart, she's been very calculating, and she's been very cold, both in her temperature and her demeanor. So she gets angry and just lets slip, oh, I'm not actually for the Horde. I'm just doing my own thing.
That's the best part, though. That's the best part of the whole video. It's like, I hate the Horde. The Horde is nothing. And the guard beside is like, wait, what? Hold up.
Yeah, she does that little look over to the side. She's just like, wait, what? And I think, honestly, Go ahead.
100%. The people who made the cinematic, right? They did their best with the shit that they were forced to shovel. That's all I can say, right? They were given such terrible fucking content, and they did their best. There's nothing wrong with the cinematic itself, other than the terrible writing.
And I think that that look, right? Because something that happens afterwards in the game that you don't hear and you don't see if you don't play the actual game and watch the cinematic, is that the Forsaken guards are still loyal to the Banshee Queen, right? They are still loyalists. Like, even that one that was standing next to her is still a loyalist. She's still part of the Forsaken.
Too, as another spoiler, is that at some point in BFA, you get to choose a side, right? You either get to go Southwing or you can be a loyalist with Sylvanas. And even though she flies off in a fucking 2-year-old hissy fit, you still get to go find her, which is fucking obvious, by the way. She just goes back to her home. Whoa, nobody would think to look there, and she just congratulates the loyalist. It's like,
yeah.
Right.
So it's like
doesn't change no matter what side you choose. So they've said, oh, we know the players want character agency, but we're not actually going to go anywhere with it.
So then Sylvanas uses some old god magic after that, and she kills Saurfang, right? Saurfang dies. We all knew that was going to happen. And then they say, Thrall says some dumb line. They zoom in on the dude's face, on the people's faces, and honestly, it got really cheesy at the very end, right? Like, it was so horrifically cheesy. Yeah, it was already pretty cheesy, but it got even more cheesy, and it's just bad. If you haven't seen the cinematic, watch it and be upset.
If you started playing WoW in BFA, you'd be forgiven for not understanding why it's bad. But if you've been a part of the Warcraft series for as long as Bag and I have, I started with Warcraft 3. Right?
Same.
I've played every single... and I loved Warcraft 3. It's a very basic storyline, right? It's a basic storyline about orcs versus humans, and then the hero of the fucking human gets screwed and becomes corrupted and evil. It's a very traditional high fantasy storyline, but it's just told very well. And the storyline of the original WoW is fine. Burning Crusade is... I actually think it's fucking stupid, personally. And that's why they went back. That's why they retcon. Legion exists purely because most players, I think that TBC storyline is completely nonsensical in the sense it's like, why are we fighting Illidan anyways? We're fighting.
My nostalgia hits very hard there, so.
Yeah, sure. But it's not that. I'm just complaining about the storyline makes no sense. Then there's Wrath, which is always considered the peak. It's always going to be the peak. That's the point where WoW had 12 million active fucking subscribers for like most of the expansion, and it ends the whole Warcraft 3 storyline. So to understand where the whole fucking hate for BFA comes from, you have to come from the beginning of where Sylvanas' character comes from. The concept here is that most hardcore World of Warcraft fans never would have expected a redemption arc for fucking Sylvanas anyways. It was always
she doesn't want to be redeemed. Like, that was
but that was the point.
Yeah, it was never a thing that should have happened. No one cared for it to happen.
No, and the thing is that I love Sylvanas was one of my favorite characters precisely because she was an evil bitch, right?
She didn't care. 100%. She just did what she wanted.
That's what made her fucking amazing, right? But then over the years, especially after things like Warlords and shit, they started to try and make her seem more likable for no other reason. And it wasn't even just that they made her even more it's not so much that they made her likable too, because in Mists of Pandaria, right, they do have the whole thing where she's like resurrecting people with the Valkyrie like the fucking Lich King was. I thought that was really, honestly, the first part where they jumped the shark with Sylvanas' character. It's the fact that why would she as a character do the one thing, and keep in mind, it's not so much that she wouldn't do it, it's that it's not explained why she does it. Her fall from grace, so to speak, which, you know, for lack of a better term here, it's not well documented. It's not really explained. It is in the books, for starters, but in the games, it's not explained why she decides, out of the blue, to just be like, oh, fucking, I'm going to do what Arthas did, despite the fact that I fucking hate Arthas and I hate everything he did. I'm just going to do that. Like, why?
To interject real quick, have you read the story about when she got the powers of the Valkyrie? Have you read that?
Yes. Yeah, I have.
So yeah, that's the point where she decides that she's going to do it because she knows what's on the other side for her. She knows what Arthas is dealing
But that's
with,
what I'm
which
saying.
is
It's in a
just
book. It's not.
yeah, it's eternal torment and oblivion. That's all that happens to her. She
basically tries to kill herself and fails because, or so she doesn't fail, but rather she.
Well, she doesn't fail. Yeah.
She goes fucking Constantine on us. You know that comic where he fucking murders, he fucking sees visions and shit, so he kills himself and then realizes, oh shit, everything that I see is real, so now I'm gonna fucking go to hell when I die. So he, instead of doing what Constantine does and spending his entire life trying to be a good person so that he's trying to redeem himself in the eyes of the Lord, she just goes ham and decides, fuck it, why do that when I could just live forever?
Yeah, and I mean,
and also she says
death, or whatever.
Her fucking slogan, "Death is suffering, life is suffering." And I was like, "Life is pain." I'm like, okay, then why don't you kill yourself? Oh, that's right, because death is worse.
Yeah, and that was the whole idea of it, is that when she died, she went into oblivion and she was basically tormented endlessly. It's kind of like the SCP that we talked about that one time.
It's because she doesn't have a soul, or she didn't have her soul was taken, so she doesn't get to go to the afterlife. She gets to go to the void.
She just goes to the void.
Whatever,
so she's basically trying to. I think she's trying to make some kind of deal with them, and then she's going to betray them, and then she's going to do whatever. You know, it's going to happen. But
well, that would be. The theories is that she either does that, or oh man, do we really want to discuss the Shadowlands theory?
I mean, not really. I don't want to get too much deeper into it. We've already hit time as it is, so I think we're actually going to call it there.
It's fine though. Elves got their revenge.
Yeah, right. They totally got their revenge. But yep, that's gonna be it, guys. As always, catch us every Tuesday live, and the video should be up in a day or so. Well, maybe 2 days. Give it some time.
Don't forget
you can check out the last episode of the Two Step Podcast. It is now on Spotify as well as YouTube and SoundCloud. So we got it on Spotify finally. If that is your preferred choice of listening device, you can do it there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be it for us.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at rTastix and BigDucks, as always.
It'll be down in the description.
That's where we post live announcements. Yep. So we post the live announcements and all that stuff. Otherwise,
and also make sure to check out Mag on Twitch. If you're not viewing his stream and you're viewing mine, you can find him at rTastix. That'll be in the links below as well. And check me out if you're over on Mag's stream. So thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for listening.